I like this plan.
Hey gang, welcome to episode 2 of the Blue Goo Review. I'm Tiger Mike here with Victor, aka DMTV, Dominion Media Television. How are we feeling today, Victor?
Hey, I'm happy to be here on episode 2 of the Blue Goo Review, Electric Boogaloo.
Don't touch it though. Don't touch the blue goo.
Don't touch the blue goo. Or
right.
you too will become screwed.
So
you get me rhyming too. I'll go all day.
Yeah. Today we're going to be going over episode 2, The Big Empty.
The Big Empty.
We're going to go over our pre-show questionnaires, and the first one being our Getting to Know Us segment. So today's question is, what was your first favorite story or franchise? That first thing you became obsessed with as a kid. And like maybe you were old enough to actually like, you know, go outside and play, you know, and pretend to be these characters or whatever. But because we were old enough to have those times when people went outside and played.
Oh, well, the first thing that comes to mind is, man, this goes way back when I was a little kid. It's got to be Return of the Jedi. I know that one's got a lot of hate. But I still love the Ewoks. I don't care what anyone says.
I love Return of the Jedi. It honestly was also my favorite when I was younger.
Yeah. I think when you get a little older and a little more mature, most people pick The Empire Strikes Back as their favorite because that's a little more, yeah. It's like it's kind of like how I recently read about how it takes someone, and usually most people don't develop a full palate or something like that until they get to be in their 20s, I think. So that's why little kids love fucking those kids meals with chicken nuggets and shit. And anyway, no, yeah, ADD brain. Here we go. So, Return of the Jedi. When I was a kid, little kid, like 4 or 5 years old, watched that VHS on repeat all the time. And I had a Lego set. And I grew up poor as fuck, so I had like one Lego set that just eventually wore out, and the pieces wouldn't connect anymore. So I had to tape them together to get them to stick. But I reenacted the entire Battle of Endor in my room a lot because I was an only child and I was lonely. So, but I had little spaceship squadrons, and I had a big basketball as I has the Death Star, and I had my little fleet. I had my little A-wings, and you know what? I think I had everything except the X-wings because I couldn't figure out how to make X-wings with cheap-ass Legos, but I had the Millennium Falcon, and we all would, I would like, watch your left wedge, right? You know, you'd be flying around, pushing my little Legos around, and they get hit, and I'd pull them apart. Yeah, so I guess I had the Battle of Endor memorized.
That is awesome, dude. I did the same kind of thing. I was fortunate enough to be able to afford some of the toys and stuff. So I had like the action figure size Millennium Falcon.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Sci-Fi and Boba Fett Slave One, which has been
man. As a kid, I would have been all just like, hey, Mom, can I go over and play at Tiger Mike's house?
Yeah, dude, I would have fucking loved it, man. But like, I was the same way. I didn't have a lot of friends, so like, you know, it was a lot of time me spending time, you know, alone in my room playing with my action figures. But it's just so funny. So pro tip, right, for all you youngsters out there, 2 of your, you know, strong binder clip, paper clip kind of things, you know, those you got the they're kind of like these, but they're like more robust.
The office clips that are like the black clip, and they have the metal twingy thingy.
Yeah, you get 2 of those and a pencil, and now you got yourself an X-wing.
Oh God, that would have been perfect.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I did that in class all the time, dude. I was like,
badass.
You know,
I built a. You know what? I'll have to find a picture of it somewhere. But I once built a xenomorph out of those. But this was just a few years ago at my the office. I got all the binder clips in the office and built a little xenomorph statue. It looks scary.
Dude, that's awesome. All right. So for me, my first like obsession, because I mean I definitely went through the Star Wars thing too, but I don't know if it was before that or around the same time as that. Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers came out, and I was just like, dude, I was all about it. Just
Yeah.
like all the, totally was made fun of for it a lot because I was probably into it more than I should have been. But you know what? That's okay. I owned it. And obviously, when they introduced Tommy the Green Ranger, I was
fuck yeah. Everyone wanted to be Tommy, dude. He was the coolest.
The uniqueness of his power, the shoulder pads. Dude,
and the Dragon Zord still is the coolest Zord ever made.
Sword and the dagger. The Dragon Dagger flute was the best thing. I was just like, that is so fucking cool, dude. Power Rangers intro and the X-Men animated intro.
Dude. 90s kid shows went hard, dude.
Dude. And I mean, it's also one of the reasons the Halo soundtrack ended up being so much better in the second one when they let the guy do the riff in there and all that.
Yeah.
Heavy guitar slaps, bro.
Yeah. Was the first Halo in the 90s? Am I that old?
No, but it was like 2000 when it came out.
Yeah.
So it's still
it was super early.
And it was Halo 2 that came in with that like guitar slide and the solo and all that. But, just saying, you add guitar to something and it might make it a hell of a lot cooler.
There was another show that was, I think it was DC, and it was like DC's answer to the X-Men animated series, but it was a show called Wildcats that was it looked just like a dollar store version of X-Men.
Right.
It also had a really, really heavy, badass opening theme song and shit.
Nice.
I love that one. I liked Wildcats better than X-Men, but I was a huge nerd. So.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. I always felt that the Batman the animated series was
that one was awesome. Man, dude, 90s. Yeah, dude, some of the fucking 90s was just great in a lot of ways. So.
Also, as long as I'm not going to be breaking any copyright law, I'm going to be trying to do on my Discord some Saturday morning cartoon watches.
Oh, man.
Watch parties. So look out for those. We'll put those.
There was at the Alamo Draft House in Austin, they used to have Saturday morning cartoon days where you could just come in and you were encouraged to be in your PJs, and you'd pay for the ticket, and it would also come with unlimited cereal bowl refills. So the staff would just come by. You'd have your choice of all your.
That's pretty excellent, right there.
God, I wish they still did that. I mean, maybe they do, but they definitely don't do that here in Fort Worth. But,
well,
damn it, Tiger Mike, you're making me wish for the days of yesteryear.
It sounds like you have a business to open, Victor.
Man, don't make me do stuff.
All right, moving on to What If. Now,
what if? Our next segment, What If?
Continue our characters that we chose from episode 1, which was Dave Lister for you and was Lando Calrissian for me. So how do you think Dave Lister would do with space travel?
So Dave Lister, he comes from Red Dwarf, where he's already lived in space for a while. But in the Red Dwarf universe, they have artificial gravity and shit. So the Expanse is a lot more hardcore, a lot more hard sci-fi. And I want to say that I would make Lister part of the Canterbury crew. And he fucking hates space travel. And whenever they do, in the first season, on the first episode where they do the flip and burn, he would have been like, "Oh, smeg, me curry," because he eats curry all day. So he'd be puking, and it would be like terrible because all that spicy curry is coming up, and it like gasses the crew. The crew has to go get their gas masks and shit. Like, God damn it, Dave.
That would suck.
Another thing I loved about him is that he's a cat person, and he had this little cat named Frankenstein that he was stowed away on the ship, and he got in trouble for it. And that's the whole reason he got sent into stasis, because he wouldn't give up his cat when the captain was like, Lister, where's the cat? He's all, what cat? I don't know what you're talking about. And the whole plot point was he took photos of him with the cap and sent him to get processed in the ship's photo lab. That wouldn't happen today because no one uses those kind of cameras anymore.
Right.
So, like, if there was ever to be a reboot, it would just be like him posting his cat pictures on social media. Yeah. You post it on Facebook and you get in trouble for it. So, yeah. But, you know, on the Canterbury, they have fucking rats. So it would be a good idea to bring some cats into space.
Yeah.
Hey, that would be, oh, man. But
you know, Tiger Mike loves cats. So.
Hell yeah, dude. That's why you're awesome. That's why you're the Tiger Mike.
Wow.
But, man, how would, oh, God. You'd have to put the cats in probably like a high G compartment where they have to be, oh, man, you'd have to put them underwater with like a little cat. Man, I'm thinking about this way too much. Anyway, go on to
yours. I mean, that is a thought, though. That is a good, interesting thought. How do the rats survive the...
That's a good point. Holy shit, dude. Yeah,
what would you have
burn? That should kill all the damn rats.
What would you have to do? Honestly, I think cats could probably handle as much G-force as a human just because of the way their bodies are designed to take impact.
Probably, yeah. They'd freak out a lot more.
Oh, yeah. They'd get used to it. In a couple of generations, they'd be used to it. And maybe that's what's going on with the rats, too, because rats and mice can compact their bodies.
Oh, no. That's why because the rats evolve in space. Oh, God, space rats. That's terrifying.
Space rats. They can chew through your alloys.
Oh, God, that's terrible.
All right. So for me, I chose Lando Calrissian. And so the question for Lando would be, how long do you think Lando would last at Ceres Station before he gets stabbed? And I mean, he's a smooth talker, so he might get in with the right people and get some protection. But like,
I would see Lando running the place after not too long, you know?
It's possible. I mean, how did he take over Cloud City? You know, it was probably in a game of sabacc where he cheated, right? Can he get away with that at the poker table? Probably. He's smooth. He's got his cards up his sleeve. But they've strung men up for doing that in the Old West, and it'll happen again. So, you know, it's a dangerous, dangerous game to play, and the wrong guy sees you do it, and he ain't going to be so cool about it. So, Lando's got to watch his back is basically all I'm saying, because they might find him face down after a riot one day.
You know, since our last podcast, I stumbled upon some internet information that there is plans. Yeah. This is supposedly official source, the Wikipedia, I think. The plan is to have a Lando movie in 2026, and they're bringing back
Donald Glover.
I never remember his real name, Childish Gambino.
Donald Glover, yeah.
Yes, he's coming back, and there's going to be a movie about Lando. That's supposedly in the works, and I am here for it, dude. I want to see the story about how Lando got to be the mayor of Cloud City. Whatever. That's going to be a good one.
They did such a good job incorporating him into Rebels as well. Like,
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh yeah, Rebels is a great show. It was one of the first that Disney ended up doing. I think after I can't remember if it was before they purchased it and it was just on Disney, or if Disney purchased it and then Dave Filoni ran it. But anyway, it's another Dave Filoni show. And it's an excellent Star Wars story. It's pre A New Hope, post Empire, follows Kanan Jarrus, Jedi Padawan at the time of Order 66, who's been on, doing his thing, and Ezra Bridger, who ends up becoming his Padawan. So super interesting story. But anyway, there's a few.
Yeah, there's just too much animation for me to get into. I started with the Clone Wars because I had a coworker who was super into it, and I just couldn't get past the first episode. It was
but the Clone Wars is different. The Clone Wars,
see, I'm such a completist though. I would want to watch the Clone Wars in its entirety first before seeing Rebels, so I'd understand the whole storyline.
Well, Rebels isn't exactly a continuation from. It stands on its own as a story. It is more enjoyable when you've watched the Clone Wars and you know Ahsoka really well and Rex really well and a couple other characters who come in and make cameos. but they aren't always there. They're not main characters in any sense.
Gotcha.
So, all right. And our question and our last question is in our what if is if you had to replace one character on the Rossi with a regular human character from Star Trek, and it could be a Bajoran or, humanoid, but it's a human version of this character into the Rossi crew, who would it be?
Damn. Oh, they're all so good, though. I gotta say, I would probably replace Holden. Just because if I think about the entire Rossi crew, he's the one I like the least.
He is Space Jon Snow, so it is really hard to like. He's a good character, but it's like hard to get over that.
Yeah, he's kind of basic, I think, and he does everything wrong. Calm down, Daisy. Do you like James Holden, Daisy? Is that what you're upset? I think I would replace him with Chief O'Brien.
Ooh, yeah.
He would be much better. Him and Naomi would between the two of them, I think they could fix anything. So
yeah. Ooh, that's a good one.
Plus, like the Expanse universe would suit him because he's always suffering. So it's a very the Expanse is a very unforgiving universe as opposed to
right in. He wouldn't feel like he's being singled out so much anymore because there's
because everyone's in the same shithole that he.
Yeah. No, I love that.
What do you think? Who would be your pick?
I think, let's see. I think I'm going to go, oh man, I don't know how they would deal with this, but in the same department, is sticking with engineering, I think Geordi LaForge would be a really interesting character to throw in there. And I don't think I would replace any character. I think I would just add him into the mix.
That's cheating, man. You told me we had to replace somebody.
Did I say that? Oh, I did. I said if I had to replace one. All right. Okay. No, that's fair. All right. Well, you know what then? Hey, I'm trying to think if there's. Oh, okay. I would replace Amos, who I love. I wouldn't want to get rid of Amos, but if I had to replace, and I wouldn't use Geordi, I would replace him with Ensign Suter, or not Ensign Suter, but Crewman Suter from.
What's his name? The fucking that actor from Alien Resurrection, and why am I not?
He's had some.
Brad Dourif.
He was.
He's so good. Yeah.
He was Grima Wormtongue in The Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And yeah, he's had so many amazing roles, but if I had to choose another sociopath to replace a sociopath, I would choose Suter because I just feel like he would fit. He would be like, this is a wild fucking world and I'm here for it.
Dude, I so badly want there was a thing a long time ago on Facebook or something where they were talking about ideas for Star Trek spinoffs. I had the idea of like Dexter on Ryza.
Oh,
I would love that. Like a serial killer on Ryza or something. That would be.
It doesn't have to be limited to one planet. Like he's got to move around if he wants to stay ahead of the fucking.
Yeah, maybe it would just be maybe a story arc in another Star Trek series about trying to track down a serial killer on Ryza. Like that. I just love that idea of because they tried to do that juxtaposition of Trouble in Paradise in that one DS9 episode, but that was kind of dumb. I would like something a little more darker, a little more sinister.
Yeah.
So.
No.
Anyway, yeah.
All right, cool. So now we're going to just do a real quick trivia question. What is the Rocinante named after?
Oh, it's from Don Quixote, the
Don Quixote's horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
supposedly there is I've heard some other people say that there's supposed to be a allegory between James Holden and Don Quixote about chasing the windmills, or maybe humanity's chasing the windmills. I don't know. I don't get it. So some of the listeners out there with an English degree, I'm sure you have a whole fucking thesis about how much deeper this is.
All right, cool. So now that we've gone through those, let's dive into episode 2, The Big Empty. So, Victor, why don't you take it away?
So we start off with the recap of Holden having a flashback to the first time he and Ade interacted, where she taught him the trick with the coffee. And I haven't tried this. I don't know. Have you ever tried to stick a match in your coffee to make it better?
No, I assume that it's because of shitty space coffee, right? Like, they don't get good coffee. They get instant coffee, and it's the cheapest instant coffee they can buy. So it probably tastes like ass, and maybe there's some chemical change to help it preserve in space better or whatever the hell. And so they have to do this to give it that bite that it's supposed to have.
You know, back in the day when I was...
I'm not a big coffee guy, so...
Oh, really?
Hot chocolate all day.
Oh, you man of culture.
Marshmallows are optional, but whipped cream is not.
Really? Yeah, okay. What are you really doing with that whipped cream cam there, buddy?
Milk, not crap.
I I like black coffee with a touch of almond milk. That's my thing. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, back to the not to the Canterbury. Canterbury just got blown up. Back to the night.
Smithereens.
Which I think the night. That's a dumb name for a shuttle. Could have come up with a better name, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to mean something.
Well,
Canterbury night
out there. You can't name them all. The Galileo.
Well, then you just give him numbers. So, Galileo 27. You know. Anyway. So yeah. Alex tells him to snap out of it and says there's incoming debris field. I love that they did this. When I first saw the Expanse, it wasn't until really this episode that I really got the immersion of it being in space and like real actual fucking space. Because in other sci-fi shows, a ship gets blown up, it just blows up. But no, in space, it just doesn't just blow up. You got to deal with that flying debris coming at you. That's going to fuck everything up. Yeah. It's terrifying. So, yeah. They strap in for the turbulence from the debris field coming up. They survive, and Holden goes full rage mode. He wants to go after the ship that just blew up the Canterbury.
Very hard.
Naomi stops him, and I think, what do you think about this? I think that this was stupid because they got no weapons. What are they going to do? They're just going to get themselves blown up.
Being a hothead, you know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, we're going to get away with it," and it's like, okay, bro, we get that, and that sucks, but we also want to live.
I think at that point they'd already gotten away with it. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, they're going to get by. You're lucky they're not going to kill you too.
Right. So they just figure you're
got to stay quiet. Yeah.
So, and honestly, that was like a stupid decision on that stealth team. They should have destroyed the shuttle too. Like, if you're going to,
I think that was part of their plan, is they needed to leave a witness in order to start some shit. So they would go back and they would think that it was they left the evidence pointing to Mars.
Yeah, no, that's
they
true.
Needed someone to go tell the story that Mars in order to start this conflict between Earth and Mars, which I've got a little bit of a, I don't want to say headcanon, but more of a better explanation, because the story is the reason they blew up the Canterbury is because they wanted to start a war between Earth and Mars to create a distraction from Eros, where they were going to be doing their evil experiments. And I think that's kind of a little too, what's the word I want to look for? That's
dramatic.
Yeah, like a little too broad. Like, okay, there are other ways to create a distraction. You need to start a fucking war. I mean, that's kind of a weird thing to do. If it was me writing this, well, I don't want to say it was me. What I would do to make it a little more, I don't know, I guess realistic or grounded, was to tell them that, to tell the readers that Eros, we know Eros is a stopover point to the rest of the belt. So I would say that probably means there's a lot of Earth and Mars ships from the Earth and Mars Navy going in and out. And if they were to start a war, then the first thing that they would do is recall all their ships, right? all the Earth and Mars Navy would recall their ships, because that way that would leave the Eros only full of belters. And as we keep saying in the series, like, no one cares about belters. They're oppressed. You kill a bunch of belters, nobody cares. That's
right.
the world that they live in.
Yeah.
But if a ship from the Earth or Mars Navy got caught up in the Eros experiment, well, then that would bring the attention of those governments, and that's something they would try to avoid. So that's what I would have put in there, just to make it a little more, a little more based, I want to say, I guess. That's what I'm looking for. But Naomi she locks Holden out of the engines. So they find out they got to get dead radio, and they've only got a few hours of oxygen left, and the airlock's breached. So they have to go out. Oh, yeah. And so Amos and Holden decide they need to go outside to fix the antenna.
Well, and then what's his name? The doctor, the wannabe medic.
Shed.
Thank you. Shed then it like has a panic attack because he's like, dude, you're gonna blow all the air out of here because the airlock doesn't work. They're
gonna have even less air. Yeah.
What drives me nuts is that there isn't a reclamation. Like, they should have the ability to pull all of that atmosphere back into a tank and store it, right? For this exact situation, to say, okay, well, instead of blowing the air, we're going to put on our suits, remove the atmosphere, put it back into storage, and then go ahead and open.
Yeah, I think there is something like that, but I might be wrong. But I think they mentioned that that's broken or it's damaged, or at least that's the impression that I got. If it wasn't, if it wasn't explicitly stated, that's what I would have thought. Because they got to flush all the air out to go outside. But then later, after they fix the antenna, they come back in and they've got their suits off. So,
well, they had some more atmosphere to pump back in, but for whatever reason,
right. All the air that was in the cabin at the time,
right?
They were,
like, you would think that would be a thing.
Shed passes out. But then Alex, something's wrong with his oxygen tank. He starts
whistling.
I gotta say, I like High Alex.
Yeah,
he's pretty funny.
Alex,
he goes, "Hey there, cowboys. I'm not feeling too good over here." So Shed rolls the nat 20 on his medic skill too. Because dude, this guy does not know what he's fucking doing.
Not a clue, man.
He totally got lucky and saved Alex's life. But so the crew makes a makeshift amplifier in order to repair the antenna. Let's see. Oh, and this is where they notice that the beacon that they got off the Scopuli has a Mars Navy circuit board on it.
Right.
So that's what leads everyone to suspect that Mars was the one that nukes the Canterbury.
Yeah. There's also, while they're repairing the antenna, this wonderful moment between Holden and Amos, where Amos is just like, if you asked me whether or not I should knock you in the head and throw you off of this ship, I can't think of a reason to. I also can't think of a reason not to. Like,
otherwise,
I could do both. And I think the question, like, Holden asked if he and Naomi were seeing each other or something like that. And he was just like, you must think I'm an idiot or something. Well, I kind of am, because I don't know if I should kill you or not. Like, and this is the first inclination. This is the first hint that you're like, okay, I'm pretty sure we're dealing with a sociopath here, which by the end of this episode, we answered definitively.
Right. Yeah. It's another thing that I feel like with the casting was kind of off here, because, in the books, it was made obvious that Amos is this big dumb grunt and he's a sociopath. And I don't know. I'm pretty sure the actor that plays Holden is taller than Amos. And of course, as we saw in the first episode, he's fucking ripped. He's got a 6-pack, which is kind of ridiculous for anyone living in space. But I think they would have done better if they would have gotten someone different for Holden. Holden is, listeners will find out that Holden is my least favorite character in the entire show. He's fucking dumb. He's basic. Anyway.
No, but he does make some good instinctual decisions, but there's
no, he doesn't. And that's something I wanted to bring up at the end. I want to get a tally going of how many times Holden is wrong, because let's think about how many times has Holden been wrong. He was wrong about the distress call. Captain told him it was a trap. And he's like, no, we need to go do the right thing. It was a fucking trap. Shed wanted to be like, okay, we're here. We don't need to investigate. Let's go home. And Holden was like, no, we're going in. And then later in this episode, well, we'll get to it. I want to keep a tally going of how many times Holden is wrong.
But I feel like he makes better decisions as he goes, right? So I want to keeping a tally is a good idea, because he makes some real stupid decisions in the first episode, right? And the first, second, and even like possibly moving forward, we'll see. Let me add another. Let me bring another mistake to bring the tally up. He fucked up the relationship he had with his fuck buddy. So we're trying to get all attachment and shit with Ade, and she's like, no, we're just banging it out. And he's like, oh, but I thought we had a thing. Like, you dumbass! What is wrong with that? Just keep that going. Yeah.
Anyway.
You're not wrong.
Anyway.
We've got at least 4 bad decisions to start out with for Holden. We have
but it's like he makes bad decisions, but that's what moves the plot along. Because if we had just listened to the captain and not answered the distress call, there'd be no story. Yeah. Or someone else would have picked it up, and maybe everything would have gone to shit. And the whole humanity would be wiped out. So thanks to Holden's dumb decisions,
right at the right time. He was Captain Archer.
Yes, he is Captain Archer. Oh, it's been a long road. Anyway,
arrogant enough to do the wrong thing, but just brave enough to put himself in the way of danger to fix it.
Holden and crew, their distress call gets answered, and they find out, oh fuck, it's the flagship of the Martian Navy, and which makes sense to me.
Yeah,
which makes sense to me because
backyard.
Yeah, they're near Mars territory, and it makes sense because they find themselves in the situation that they had previous episode where like, oh shit, there's a distress call. No one's going to answer a distress call. It's the Mars Navy or Earth Navy for that matter. They would be the only ones who would, because they're required to. Whereas, the civilian freighters and the transports, they're like, oh, I'm not doing that. It's pirate bait. But, the Navy, the Mars military, they would have to answer, and they're not afraid of pirates. That's what they do,
Well, and here's the question, though. Was it really the intention of the OPA to have the Canterbury answer that distress call, or was it their intention to have an Earth vessel answer, like an Earth military?
Well, it wasn't the OPA that did it in the end. It was that's one of the suspects. They think it might have been the OPA, but it was the Earth Corps. What was the name of it? Protogen. It's Protogen's setting up this thing. Yeah. I think that they didn't have it all planned out exactly like this. They just were setting things in motion and just kind of like adapting on the fly, because there's no way you could have known that one shuttle would survive.
It could have been a test.
Oh, true. System. That's true. I think maybe it could have been that they maybe even were planning to attack the Donager. That was their plan. And with the being that close to Martian space and knowing that most civilian freighters would ignore a distress call, I think they were trying to lure the Donager in. Like that was their plan. But then all of a sudden they're like, holy shit, the Canterbury's answering. What the hell are they doing? So that they had to adapt their plan on the fly. So maybe like while the Canterbury was en route, they're like, oh shit, okay, change the plan, guys. And then they went over to the Scopula, was it Scopula? Yeah, the Scopuli, and planted that transmitter. And we're like, okay, all right, set it up. Everyone go back to hiding.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot more sense when you kind of flesh everything out. But
yeah, that's my theory anyway. It's not explained in the books.
I like it.
Yeah. So the Donager's on the way, and at this point, because they found that that Made by Mars logo on that transmitter, that it was the Mars, they think the Donager is on the way to kill off the last of the witnesses, and they're like, shit. So this is where Holden makes his next mistake and decides to broadcast.
I don't necessarily think it is, because it's part of...
Okay.
I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's a good call. And we'll get to that after we explain what he does.
All right. Yeah, so Holden sends out a message on like all channels stating that they've got evidence that the Mars blew up the Canterbury. It was them, and we're about to be taken hostage. And if they try to hurt us, then that's just going to... So that's like his insurance policy, which honestly, I got to say is a smart move. I probably would have wanted to do the same thing if I was in that situation.
And like everybody else is trying to stop him, and he locks them out, and he's like, dude, I'm fucking doing this. And it's one of the few times, like, at least I think it's the tally mark for him making a good decision.
I think so in the end. Well, no, I still say no. It's not a good decision, because I mean, it's the right move, but based on the information that he had at the time. Because he's playing into the hands of Protogen and the bad guys. He's doing what they wanted him to do.
But he's also giving more information to Earth, who is then able to use this to figure out, okay, and then this is what inspires what happens in episode 3 for them to figure out, wait a second, this isn't Mars. Without Holden sending that, they would not have necessarily pressed the same information to
see. I kind of disagree. I think that, well, maybe you're right. Because if he hadn't sent that out and the Mars just would have taken them in, they wouldn't have treated them like prisoners. They would have treated them like a rescue operation. You know, they wouldn't have thrown them in jail. They wouldn't have interrogated them. And at that point, they could have been like, this ship blew up the Canterbury. And I don't know if they can recover the sensor logs from the shuttle to show what kind of ship it was, the stealth ship. Maybe they didn't. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if they go into that. But maybe you're right, because if it was just that, they'd be like, all right, these are just some crazy belter freighter guys, whatever, shut up, you know? And just dropped them off.
Maybe.
And they wouldn't have investigated the stealth ships. And then the Donager would have got blown up anyway by the stealth ships. So, okay. I still say it was a mistake, but it's a necessary mistake.
The information he had in hand, it was definitely the right choice.
Because they thought that they were about to be taken prisoner by the Martians and executed or something. Yeah.
Right.
So this prevented that.
And you never really know how they're going to be treated by Mars anyway. I mean, we know Alex is going to be fine because he's a former officer, but they might have arrested them anyway. They might have used this situation to send any kind of message that they thought would be better in terms of what happened and how they control the narrative at that point. He took charge of it and said, this is what I know is going on, which also makes him a valuable card to hold. They can't just
without that piece of information there, then they wouldn't have, the Mars would have ignored him, and he probably would have died on the Donager during the attack, and they wouldn't have made such a big deal about getting him off the ship.
Right.
Because it was a mess that he started. He's like, now the entire system thinks we're responsible for killing 50 people on the Canterbury. If he hadn't have done that, then there wouldn't have been no reason to get him safely off the ship to clear their names.
Right.
So he created a problem that kept them alive. Okay. I still say it was a mistake, but it was the right call. In the end, it turned out not being a mistake. See, I'm thinking too short-term here.
Enough.
I'm thinking too short-term here. I'm thinking I'm on the shuttle that's running out of oxygen. We're about to die. Here comes the rescue. Holden, you just pissed off our rescuers. Now, instead of a hot meal and a cozy bed, they're going to stick us in the fucking brig and interrogate us.
I mean, it's a valid point. You never know how it's going to go. I think it ended up being the right call.
Yeah, it ended up being the right call. You are correct, but I still count it as a mistake. He was wrong because he goes out and tells the entire system, that Mars blew up the Canterbury. That, in fact, is factually incorrect. So
True.
but it needed to happen to move the whole story along, and in the end, save their lives. Which domino effect, they saved humanity. So
Right.
spoiler alert for the books.
Spoilers.
Meanwhile, back on Sirius Station, water rationing is in effect, and Miller is in his quarters taking a shower, and it's cut short because, the water rationing is in effect. I guess the water rationing went into effect after he already got in the shower, because, like, if that's me, I would, if I don't have not much water left, I wouldn't be taking a cozy ass shower, because that's the worst, dude. When you have to get out and you're still covered in shampoo and shit, dude. I
didn't think he was keeping track, but they do mention the water shortage was going to lead to rationing in the episode previous.
Yeah. So I'm just watching him. I'm just watching him in the shower. It's like, dude, what are you doing, man? Come on. You're a belter. You should know this.
Yeah.
Anyway. Then
you got the
then Miller heads over to Julie's apartment to do some investigating, finds a message from her father threatening to sell the racing ship, the Razorback. Julie's dad, our main villain, but we don't know he's the villain at this point, but he just wants Julie to come home, and Julie's being a petulant, acting like a teenager. I don't know how old she's supposed to be, actually, but I get the impression that she's supposed to be pretty young, so I don't know.
I'd say like 19, maybe 20.
19 probably sounds right.
Is the range that I put her in.
Yeah. So then Julie sends an angry voicemail back saying she can't control him. But this is where where Miller notices that her water supply is full.
Yeah.
And he finishes up his shower. Yeah, this is some crooked cop shit, but I got to say, I'd probably do the same thing.
I would definitely do the same thing. Like,
I'd raid the fridge, you know?
That might not be the worst idea. I mean, she got this a while ago, so you got to assume there's probably not much left in there for food, at least stuff that would go bad and anything like that she probably chucked.
Yeah. But she also is a rich kid, so she's probably got some good stuff, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely some good dry food at least. Like.
Yeah. So then later, after Miller finishes his hot shower, him and Havelock head over to the administrative plaza where they oh wow, interesting. It's a representative named June. I didn't realize this background person had a name, but June shows them the areas of the gardens that had turned brown.
Oh, this must be the belter that's stealing our water. All right, privileged guy.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's Havelock who makes Havelock is like, well, maybe if all the crappy belters that you hate had a view like this, they'd care about it a little more. And as like an insult, I guess, he gives him a cactus.
Yeah. it's like a go fuck yourself cactus.
Go fuck yourself cactus.
Go make your view with this. Like, here's part of the view. Entertain.
Oh man, can that be the name of this episode? The Go Fuck Yourself Cactus.
Yeah.
I want to make that a thing. Yeah, let's make that a trend. Whenever you want to tell someone to fuck off, get them a tiny little cactus.
Yeah,
to go and just write GFU on it. Just sit on this. I like it. So then they head down to the docks. It's an AWP worker. They head down to the depths of Ceres inside the maintenance elevator. And that's where they find that some of the shit's been leaking. And this is the part where that guy, Miller asks him about his tattoos. He's like, oh, you just showing your colors? Like your boss lets you show your colors like that?
My boss has one just like it, bro.
Yeah. Which is kind of ballsy, I got to say, because he's talking to a cop. So he's just like, I don't give a fuck.
I mean, well, I think there's a difference between the OPA and OPA terrorists, right? Like
that's true. Yeah.
You know, there is an organization, And just because someone's involved in the organization doesn't mean they're necessarily a violent offender or criminal or anything like that. Like, sometimes we can make those assumptions, but like this dude's just standing here doing his job. You're going to arrest him because he's got a tattoo that supports the fact that his people are being exploited. Like,
so yeah, but this is the part where my boy here eats a mushroom.
Yeah. Finds himself a nice mushroom growing there, and it's like, yes, sir. Honestly, though, can you blame him? It's probably the most nutritious meal he's going to eat that day.
I maybe, and it is a lot of water. Like in the Expanse universe, water, they say it literally at the beginning of the series that water is more valuable than gold, and it takes a lot of water to grow mushrooms.
Yeah,
I think. Later in the series, we see someone eating cucumber sandwiches, and they get super excited. Like cucumbers require a lot of water to grow, so that would be a big luxury in space. So,
yeah,
but I did see something recently, like something like, I forget what it is, but something like less than 5% of all mushrooms species are edible, and most of them will kill you. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Hey, you're kind of an expert in mushrooms over there, dude.
I'm far from an expert in mushrooms, but I know a bit more than you. And it's definitely, dude, I know enough that if I'm not certain, like I'm not a mushroom forager, but I have friends who are. But like, you got to know what you're looking for, because
you don't want to just go eating any mushroom that you find. I know
those mushrooms that you find, yes, are not going to agree with you, and many of them could potentially kill you if you eat enough of them, or some of them you don't need to eat much of them at all. But there are a good selection of really good mushrooms for you, and that they have a lot of benefits when you eat them. Like
I do love mushrooms, man. I've never had any of the fun ones, but I love cooking with mushrooms.
Yeah, well, but also I think it's like most of the mushrooms in the grocery store or in the super food market are the same. They're all one type of mushroom at different stages of its life, right?
Right.
Oh, it's all portobello, from I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Even the cheap ass white mushrooms that you get in the big bags, those are
not 100% sure. I don't know, but for most of the
listeners, join our Discord. I'm sure some of you guys listening are have some mushroom knowledge out there.
Lion's mane. You're not going to find chicken of the woods. You're not going to find these really healthy, good mushrooms for you in the grocery store. Is basically the point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the diversity of mushrooms in the grocery store is very minimal.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, and I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy reasons as to why, but it's just maybe difficult to grow a lot of these mushrooms in an industrial fashion to the point where we can consume them in our industrial food market.
I've seen some videos and such about people who take up growing mushrooms as a hobby. What is it called? Mycolologist or some shit like that.
Mycology. Yeah.
It's looks like a really it's not the easiest hobby to take up, is what it's like. It looks like it's pretty complicated.
Set it up. It's about the setup. If you have the right conditions and the right, nutrition or whatever, stuff that they need to grow. If you,
because you're literally growing fungus. You don't want it to be too fungusy, I guess.
Yeah. Oh,
I have just enough fungus for fun.
I have a few friends that do grow the fun kind of mushrooms. I'll have to ask them.
Yeah. Get them on. Let them have a guest episode here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Havelock and Miller, they head down to the Down Deep, and they confront young Diogo and his gang of water thieves. And this is interesting because this is actually the part of a beginning of a really important subplot for our story here. But yeah, Diogo and these punk kids are stealing water, and their problem is they're stealing too much.
Right.
Their Miller is like, we can let this slide if you divert a little bit here and there, but you get the attention of the guys up top. Now we got to come down on you,
And he's
don't fuck with that aqua.
Different gangs, and how the one gang, he's like, dude, they take a bit, They sell it for profit. They do better. No one cares. You drain this whole pipe. Everybody's going to notice. You're going to get your ass fried.
You fucking newbie ass criminal.
I mean, the kid is such a fucking punk. And it's like just throwing it all in his face. And then Miller he's like, dude, what do you think? You will throw him in a fucking prison ship for a couple years to Havelock?
Yeah.
And then he lets the kid go. And Havelock thinks he's going to like stab this kid. And he's like, dude, fuck, man. Like, I'm just letting him go. Like, come on. I'm not going to fucking kill him. Because that's the point, is he is on their side. He's like, it's not worth you losing years of your life for doing this. Be smarter, and sends him.
This is probably one of the best moments of Miller being a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, don't fuck up this kid's life. He's young. He made a stupid mistake. Just give him a good scare and let him go. You know, that's, I don't want to dive into the subject too much, but that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's funny. This morning, I had a random Snapchat story come across about a woman who got arrested for masturbating on a public beach. It's like, that led to, they couldn't have just let her off with a warning. No, they took her in, and that fucked up her whole life. But anyway.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, it's a really sad story.
Sex offenders. Yeah. Like, that's how it is. And honestly, it's kind of like, yeah, maybe they shouldn't have prosecuted her in that particular situation, probably. But like, maybe if she was being a fucking perv, like, you know.
Yeah. But no, he made the right call, just to give the kid a good scare, let him go, and, you know, hope he makes better decisions. But but the whole point of this scene was to show the audience that the real criminals on series are gone. They're like, the Grigas, who are the gang, the water gang, I guess. Yeah. They're not stealing water anymore, so that these kids move in and take over. Area. Yeah, and they're like, huh, why are all the big goons on series suddenly gone? Whoa. Yeah, again, I feel like they could have done a little bit more on the TV show here to make that more apparent, because the first time I was watching the show, I didn't even take note of it at all.
Yeah, and it's a very minor line. It's almost a throwaway line. And really, they could have reinforced that in the next episode when there's all the remember the can, you know, and the rioting, and they could have been like, can you imagine how much would have been if the gang were here?
I'm going to get into that in the next episode, because there's a lot they leave out from the book. But yeah.
Cool.
So then Miller heads over to the docks to try and get a lead on the Razorback. The dockmaster remembers Julie getting into a fight and shows him footage of it. And at this point, the notes here say, in case you haven't put the pieces together yet, Julie Mao left Ceres on the Scopuli.
Yeah.
The Scopuli was the abandoned ship. Yeah. Miller goes through Julie's dating profile on Space Tinder and finds out she went on a date with a guy. Yeah. It's funny, if you pause and check out all these, the details on all these dating profiles, everyone's a vegan.
Oh, God. Well, they have to be out there.
Yeah. There's no choice.
They have much of a choice.
I mean, that's not the flex that it is today. Be like, look at me, I'm a vegan. Hey, just like everyone else in space.
Yeah, right. Like, you might as well just say, I'm poor.
Right. But yeah, so Night Bandit 31 is her contact. And speaking of dating, Havelock takes the cactus to the red light district.
Gives it to his hooker.
Yep, to Gia. She's the same, though. This is the same sex worker from the first episode who they dropped in on with the they had the murder going on, and he comes by and gives her a cactus.
Yeah, well, and he's obviously become like enamored with this prostitute.
I would be too, man. That actress,
spending a lot of time with her.
That actress is, I want to say she's 6'1", but she was also played the first. There were two different actresses who played Ariam in Star Trek Discovery. She was the first one, and they hired her because she's so tall, and she looks like a belter. So
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back on Earth in the UN, Ehrenreich is pissed off at Avasarala for doing some torture.
Yeah. And basically is saying without saying, like, dude, you got to fucking stop doing this. This is the right way to do it. This is the right way to do it. Like, this is the right way to do it.
And so watching this again after seeing the entire series and everything, it's like Ehrenreich doesn't seem like the type of character who would give a shit about something like this. He has no morals.
He didn't care at all.
He's pissed because she's getting too close to the truth. Like his secret, Ehrenreich's involved in this whole conspiracy, and Avasarala is getting a little too close. So he tells her to back off.
I don't think he was telling her to back off. I mean, even though that
would have made more sense to tell her to back off, but he tells her to put him in a tank.
Well, because I think the real reason is that what she's doing, if word got out, would look so much worse for Earth, right?
That is true. It would look really bad for Earth.
Promised that they were going to stop doing this, and then to immediately start doing it again, it's like he's basically going like, "This is bad PR. You cannot do this anymore." Like, if it gets out, then we're all fucked, and our whole cause is fucked. So you can't do that because it's going to look bad. I don't care that you're doing it. I care how it looks.
I thought in depth about what it would be like for this belter. Just imagine you were on a planet with twice Earth's gravity. How that would feel, constantly being weighed down. It would feel like you had weights attached to every part of your body. Dude, that would suck. That would fucking suck. And then I think even being put in a water tank it would be a little better, but it would still be pretty shitty. Yeah. I don't think that would
fun. I mean, I was thinking about that and how much of a relief it is to be in the water versus just being in.
But you'd still feel the gravity. It's just that it would be a little bit of a relief, I think.
Well, I mean,
I don't know, just something scary to think about.
Really, it's about the pressure. I would be more interested because there's higher pressure in water than there is in air. So you might not feel the effects of gravity as badly, but in space, there is no pressure. So how
this thing that is like
it might be worse to put them in a tank. I could be wrong. I'm not a biologist, but like
no, it makes sense because I don't know. I'm just thinking about how NASA astronauts train in underwater tanks, but
because of the pressure you're creating pressure inside your suit when you're in space. There is no pressure outside of your suit in space. But to make sure that all those seals work properly, they test them in the deep ocean. One, because it makes it easier for them to move, because those suits are impossible to move in Earth gravity. But also to make sure that they're sealed properly and that they can withstand any pressured environment. At least that's my feel free to correct me in the comments, people.
Yeah. Well, anyway, she interrogates this belter, and he tells her to fuck off. She's trying to find out why he's in possession of advanced stealth technology. So then later, she has this guy whose name is apparently Hiki Sabrong. I
don't know. I think I should.
He gets sent to Luna for further interrogation,
which ended up being another one of Avasarala's mistakes, because exactly like Ehrenreich is all like, dude, let's just keep him here. We'll take another crack at him. Our team will get him eventually. She's like, no, we got to send him to Luna. And then the episode, I think at least their part in the episode, Avasarala's part in the episode, ends with her being told, dude, he kills himself by getting out of the G-force injections so that the G-force kills him, and he was making a statement like, they killed me with gravity.
Yeah, which makes me think, like, I got the impression that maybe this is also kind of a statement or something, but it looked to me like he was able to do that because those gravity seats were designed for not humans, Earthers. because his neck is just so skinny from being a belter, growing up in space. He's able to slide out of it.
It fits on pretty well onto his neck, and
But I think something like that would be, you shouldn't be able to do that. It's a safety thing. If this thing's going to save your life, you shouldn't be able to get out of it.
Well, no, but
Earther
want to, right? It's not.
Well, I mean, you could slip. There's turbulence and shit. I don't know. My theory is the reason he was able to do that is because it's designed for Earthers, and his belter neck was too skinny, and he is able to slip out of it. Anyway, that's just what I think.
Well, I mean,
too much.
It's hard to really know what the author of the book had intended,
Right.
because the visual that they give us with the TV show is that he basically was able to, not easily, but also not very hard, push his neck out of it, because it's just a little thing that goes in.
Right.
It doesn't have any real restrictive abilities. If they wanted to do that, they should have had a fucking head brace on him. So you
Right.
can't do that. That would have made more sense for a prisoner who might want to kill himself. It's really about anticipation, and they poorly anticipated what he'd be willing to do. He was a well-spoken prisoner. He was a well-spoken person and that even surprised Avasarala. It's like, wow, you're actually intelligent, and you're able to hold a conversation that I can understand without all your slang, because Belters have a entire language
Right.
of their own now. So I mean, it really was like, hey, guess what? Fuck you.
Yeah. And that's our episode. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention earlier is when earlier in the episode, when Naomi is telling the crew to grab anything that has a battery so they can try and make something to fix their antenna, I swear it looks like Holden is carrying they look like the fucking traps from Ghostbusters is what he has.
Oh, yeah. The plasma packs.
No, the ghost traps that they slide.
Oh, yeah.
To trap the ghost. That's what he's carrying 3 of these things, and that's what they look like.
I do love in that scene how he lets go of the wrench like an idiot, and it just flies away, and he's like, no. And Amos, the sociopath that he is, just looks at him and is just like, I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm not even gonna fucking say anything. Like, dude, do you know where you are right now? Like, is this your...
We're up to 5 mistakes for Holden, losing the fucking wrench. Where are you going to get another wrench, bro?
Push it down to the fucking hull. I'm sure it's magnetized. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's like, come on, dude. I do love, however, that he just gets so frustrated with the antenna not working at the end that he just kicks it 3 times. Because
he gets it to work.
Technology needs a smack, and I don't care if it's the future. I don't care what time period you're dealing with. Sometimes it's giving it a smack makes it work better.
Percussive maintenance. Yeah. Did we talk about this last time about did I mention? Yeah.
It's a recurring
about how I miss those days where you just slap the TV and get it to work again. But now these days
in a box,
when my iPad's not, or my tablet's not working, if I smack it, it's just going to break.
Yeah,
it's not like that.
I have done this. That is very true. That is exactly what happens.
Well, that's our episode, guys. So,
that for
I gotta say, I did not like this episode. The first episode was great. I didn't like this one because the majority of the focus was on the lifeboat, and I don't like shit like that.
It was a very
it's kind of,
they needed to add the thriller kind of like, oh my god, are they gonna survive? And it's like, characters of the story, they have to survive.
Yeah, and like, lifeboat episodes and other, not even just sci-fi, but stuff like, where a ship is sinking and they get off and you have to wait, they're going to be rescued. There was an episode of Sequest like that.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Anything like that I just find very boring. Same thing with Lost in the Desert episodes, where you spend the whole time trying to survive. I don't find those interesting. I think they're a waste of time, but
I appreciated, I mean, it was really more of Miller's and Avasarella's stuff.
Yeah, that was more, without that, this episode would have been a complete snoozer for me, but yeah,
I mean,
Miller's story on series and Avasarella, that made it interesting.
I also feel like because it's the second episode of the series, it was also telling us what the physics, what the science, what the process was like in this universe. And so as a sci-fi fan, I do enjoy that for itself. Like, okay, we're losing power, the antenna needs to be repaired, the airlock has been blown, we are completely fucked, and we need to figure out how the fuck we're going to survive this. And I'm not as big of a fan as the like, oh, are they going to make it? Like, oh, are the, you know, it is good kind of storytelling to be like, okay, Shed saves, why can't I think of his name?
Alex,
thank you. Shed saves Alex, and, you know, does a really brave thing and nearly kills himself doing it. And so like little things like that, flushing out how Amos is a sociopath and really has Naomi's back and doesn't give a fuck about Holden. Like those elements are kind of nice, but it was a flatter episode, and especially compared to episode 3, I feel like
episode 3 is where things get fun. Is
Remember the Camp.
Next episode is Remember the Camp. That's when things start to heat up, and I've got a lot to talk about next episode as far as like book differences and
out. I'm always interested in that stuff. It's one of the things that I really appreciate about Game of Thrones is how very different the show ended up being from the books. If George R.R. could maybe finish his last book, I might.
Anytime I see him in the news anywhere, I just want to yell at him like, finish the fucking book.
Oh my God.
What are you doing? You need to be writing.
Somebody, I can't remember the author. I wish I could, but an author just released a book to finish their series and made the dedication out to George R.R. Martin. See, it isn't that hard.
Ha ha ha. I think he's written himself into a corner and he just doesn't know what he's going to do. So,
yeah, I think here's the thing, and I can, not that I have published anything that anybody's really read, but I do write. I have some stories that I'm writing, and you have to sit there and push forward sometimes and say, no, I can't. I'm in too much of a juxtaposition to let the story naturally tell itself. I'm at a point where something has to happen in the plot to move it forward in a way that makes sense. And I need to decide what the fuck that's going to be. And
I'm the same way. Like fans of DMTV, the longtime fans will know that years ago, I think it was in 2020, actually, I started a horror story called Hail to the Queen. And it got a few, like, it's something I really like. I have a lot of passion for it. It's a story about what happens when the bored queen encounters a xenomorph hive.
Yeah, I think I saw that. I love that.
It had one or two fans. It had one guy who was super into it, and he kept on, like, he was my first toxic fan. He got so mad at me because I didn't finish the story. And like, I know how it's going to end. I'm just at a point that's difficult to do because not only am I writing, I have to do the visuals, so it's comic book style,
right?
So it's just I'm at a hurdle where I'm like, God, this next part's going to be so hard to do, and I just kind of forgot about it. But it's like, hey, George R.R. Martin's taking longer, and that motherfucker's getting paid. So
yeah,
I do this for free for fun.
If it's at that level where he is, then it's like, dude, what are you doing? If it's, a dinky online comic, no offense, I love them, but it's not changing the world here. You know what I mean?
No offense taken, yeah.
It's fun. Like, let's just have fun with it. And you should finish it when you want to, but if you never did, no one's really worse for wear except that one guy.
Except that one guy. I wonder if he's even on Facebook anymore. Oh, Sean Michael. I'm pretty sure that was his name. Shout out to you, buddy.
Well, this one goes out to you.
I'll finish it eventually.
Yeah.
Well, that's our episode. Do we got anything else we need to take care of before we wrap this one up?
Do we think Holden was right for sending the message? And yes and no. But do you agree with Naomi's decision to lock Holden out of the engines? Like, yeah, he was being a hothead. And then what do you think of Miller's style and how loose he is with the rules? And I just think it makes him a more endearing character too, because he's got empathy. He's not just, he's more. He
does have a little bit of empathy. Yeah.
He's morally gray and has empathy, right? He's not just going to do what his boss tells him. And he's not just going to let the Belter get away with being a dumb fuck. He's going to smack it around a little bit and say you're being a dumb fuck. You almost lost years of your life, and then send him on his way. Like, he's on everybody's team and nobody's team. And
I like Miller as a character. I would hate to be around him as a person if he were a real person.
He would be difficult.
Especially as like if he was like a coworker, because I've had coworkers like him who are just a fucking mess. And actually, I think I have been said coworker who's just a mess. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be around him in real life. It's kind of like, you can do that though. You can like a character, but knowing that it's a fictional character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, even though they're a horrible person. Like Khan Noonien Singh is my favorite villain of all time. Dude, if he was a real person, fuck you.
He is the prime example of toxic masculinity, and everybody loves him for it. It's like, it's kind of terrifying. It's one of my biggest problems in our current society is that we're so drawn to things that we know are bad for us sometimes. But he's a wonderful character, and especially in Wrath of Khan, was written beautifully. So,
speaking of which, I'm about to go refill my coffee and get a Red Bull. Speaking of being drawn to things that are bad for us, my heart's going.
Victor,
shut up, you're fine.
Victor, thank you so much for helping us go over episode 2, The Big Empty, and our Blue Goo review. And hey, gang. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and all of those wonderful things. Tell your friends. Tell the people who don't care. Tell the people who will care, especially. And we'll see you next time at the Blue Goo Review.
You too.
I like this plan.